Hi guys, welcome back. I hope you had a relaxing spring break, spent some good time with family. Today is an asynchronous day, and obviously you already clicked on this link if you are watching this video. So I just wanted you to know there's a lot of changes coming up, but hang in there because we will figure this out together. Okay, we are in week 29, April 12th to the 16th. And if you click on the whale, ta-da, it's magic. It takes you to week 29. Here is our agenda. So let's go ahead and click on the agenda. And here we go. For most of you guys, this should be review. So for my Math 7 guys, we are in chapter 13, circles and area. If you are in Math 8, this is not in your textbook, but you do have access to it through your online textbook. It's in the Advanced 2 textbook. We have our review and our CER. If you choose, you can watch the Monday message today. If not, we will watch it tomorrow. Here's the lesson, Big Ideas 13.1, Circle and Circumference. So the book pages are accessible here on the agenda. This is the lesson that we will be doing. Here are the video examples from the book. And then here is your assignment, Big Ideas Online. Okay, so let's go ahead and get started. Okay, we are doing lesson 13.1. It can be found on pages 552, 552. And this is in the Advanced 2 textbook. So if you don't have the Advanced 2 textbook, you can access it online, or the pages are available in the agenda as well. Okay, so we're going to be talking about circles and circumference. So let's go through some of the basics, and this should be review. Okay, here's a circle. From the middle of the circle to any point or on the outer edge of the circle, this is called the radius. Okay. Now, to bisect the circle or cut it in half, you will have a line segment that goes across the circle through the center, goes all the way across, it bisects the circle or cuts it in half, and this is called the diameter. So all the way across is the diameter. And then the outside edge of the circle right here, this is called the circumference. Circumference. So some of the things that we need to know. A diameter, the diameter is equal to 2 radiuses. So here's a radius and here's a radius. The diameter that bisects the circle or cuts it in half goes through the center, and it is equal to 2 radiuses. And that kind of makes sense from here to the end and from here to the end. Okay, so we need to know that the diameter is equal to 2 radiuses. Something else that we need to know, pi. Pi can be equal to 3.14 or 22/7. There will be times when it's beneficial to use it as a decimal, and there will be other times when it's beneficial to use it as a fraction. You can use either one, whichever you are most comfortable with, okay? And then the last thing we need to know, circumference, the area, the line, the perimeter around the circle, I guess, the circumference is equal to 2 pi r or pi diameter, because 2r is equal to the diameter. So circumference is equal to 2 pi r or pi diameter. And it'll just depend which information they give you as to which one you use. But this is the nuts and bolts of what we are doing today, okay? So let's talk about what we're going to see. The book will give you a problem like this, the line going through it, and they'll tell you that the diameter is equal to 20 feet. So what is the radius? If the diameter is 20 feet, what is the radius? Well, intuitively, we can say the radius is half the diameter, so it's going to be 10. But if we need a formula for that, we know that diameter is equal to 2 radius. So this is a diameter, this is 20, is equal to 2 radius. I want to isolate my radius. I want to know what the radius is. So we're going to divide by 2. What we do to one side, we must do to the other. So 10 is equal to the radius is equal to 10 feet. Okay? So now the book has given us the radius, which is 7 meters, and we want to know what's the diameter. Well, we know that diameter is equal to 2 radius. And since this is a radius, I'm going to plug it in here. Diameter is equal to 2 times 7. The diameter is equal to 14 meters. So if they've given you the diameter, intuitively, we divide it by 2 to find the radius. But here's the formula for that. Or if they give you the radius and they're asking you the diameter, intuitively, we're going to multiply that by 2. But here's the formula for that. Okay? Okay, so let's talk about how to find the circumference. The circumference. We have a circle, and they're giving us a radius of 5 inches. If we look back up here, the circumference is similar to the perimeter of the circle, the outside edge of the circle. And the formula for circumference is 2 pi r or pi times diameter. So in this case, they're giving us the radius. So circumference is equal to 2 pi times the radius. And I'm going to substitute 5 for my radius. The circumference is equal to 2 pi times 5. Now, you can use a calculator, you can use the decimal or the fraction, it's up to you. So circumference is equal to 2 times 3.14 times 5. And I'm going to use a calculator for that. 2 times 3.14 is equal to 6.28 times 5 equals 31.4. So the circumference is equal to 31.4 inches. Okay, so here it's just a matter of substitution. The circumference, pi, and radius. Now the book will also give you an example like this, where there's the center. They're giving us the diameter. The diameter is 28 millimeters. So circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. And now it's just a matter of substitution. The circumference is equal to pi is 3.14 and the diameter is 28. So now I'm going to use a calculator and multiply that. 3.14 times 28 equals 87.92 millimeters. So really, you have to pay attention to, are they giving me the radius? In which case, this is what you're going to use. Or are they giving me the diameter? In which case, this is what you use. Okay? Now, let's take this one step further. And the book is going to give us a problem like this. We have a circle. There's the middle. And they're going to tell us that the circumference is equal to 31.4 inches. And we want to know, what is the diameter? So we know that the circumference is equal to pi times the diameter. So now it's just substitution. I'm going to substitute 31.4 inches for the circumference is equal to pi is 3.14 diameter. I want to isolate the diameter because this is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to divide by 3.14. I'm going to divide by pi. What I do to one side, I must do to the other. And I'm going to use a calculator for this. And remember, on your Chromebooks, you have a calculator. So 31.4 divided by 3.14 equals 10. So 10, so our diameter is equal to 10 inches. If the circumference is 31.4 inches, the diameter is 10 inches. Okay. Okay, and last but not least, we're going to be talking about semicircles. So a semicircle is a half circle. Here's our circle, and this is the invisible part of the circle that we're not seeing. Okay, so this is the center, and since this goes all the way across, it's the diameter. And this right here is half of the circumference, because we're talking about a semicircle. It's a half circle. So this is the diameter, and this is half of the circumference. Can we find the perimeter of the semicircle? Absolutely, we can. The diameter here is 6 meters. So what we're going to do, we're going to find the circumference of the whole circle and then divide it in half. So circumference is equal to pi times diameter. The circumference is equal to 3.14 times 6. And I'm going to use my calculator for that. 3.14 times 6 equals 18.84. So the circumference is equal to 18.84. But this is the circumference of the whole circle. we only want the circumference for half of the circle. So I'm going to divide this by 2. I want to divide this by 2. So what we're dealing with here, half the circumference, I guess, is equal to 9.42. So this here is equal to 9.42 meters. Okay, so this is half of the circumference, and this is the diameter. And we want to know the perimeter of this semicircle. So I'm going to take 9.42 plus 6, and I get 15.42 meters. So the perimeter of this semicircle is 15.42 meters. Okay, so that's about it for today's lesson. And this should be review for you. So let's take a look at it. So from the center of the circle to the outside edge is called the radius. A line segment that cuts or bisects a circle that goes through the center is called a diameter. And the diameter is equal to 2 radius or 2 radii. 1, 2. The outside edge of the circle is called the circumference. And the circumference is equal to 2 pi radius or pi times diameter. And we need to remember that pi can be used as a decimal, 3.14, or as a fraction, 22/7. You can use whichever you are most comfortable with. The book will give you the diameter and ask for the radius. So we know that the radius is half of the diameter. We can do that in our head, divide it by 2. But if we're using the formula, diameter equals 2 times radius. We're going to substitute this for diameter and then isolate radius. And we get a radius of 10. The book will also give us a radius and ask us the diameter. And intuitively, we just double the radius. But if we need to show our work or prove it, here's the formula. Diameter is equal to 2 times radius. And since this is the radius, I'm going to substitute 7 for r. 2 times 7 is 14. The diameter is equal to 14. And then we're going to talk about circumference. And we've got 2 formulas for circumference, depending what information they give us. If they give us the radius, the circumference is 2 pi radius. If they give us the diameter, the circumference is pi times diameter. Okay, so it depends what information they're giving us. And the circumference is this outer edge. Okay. And then life doesn't stay that simple, because sometimes they like to give us the circumference and then ask us, well, what's the diameter? So here again, circumference is equal to pi times diameter, and we're just substituting. The circumference is 31.4. Pi is 3.14, and we're trying to isolate for D, diameter. In this case, the diameter is 10 inches. And here, we're trying to find the perimeter of a semicircle. A semicircle is a half circle. So we're going to use the diameter to find the circumference of the whole circle. Then we're going to cut that circumference in half, because we only want half. And then the perimeter is this half circle plus the diameter. So that's what we're doing today. Okay, so you guys can go to Big Ideas online and go ahead and get started with your work. Remember, you have to finish this assignment and get it turned in for attendance credit. Okay, so get this done, and I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. Have a good evening.